liberty, and justice for all. Oh my, can you believe it's December already? Last official, well, not official meeting of the year, but the last regularly scheduled meeting of the year. We have our cleanup meeting there the last few days, but welcome to the December meeting of the Clinton County Council. We'll begin with our regular administrative tasks. That starts with the approval of the November meeting minutes. Clark, have you had a chance to review?
I wasn't there.
No.
You weren't there.
I read-
Jeff,
yes.
Jeff, have you had a
Yes.
chance to review? That's right.
So I read them, and I didn't see any additions or corrections, so I'd make a motion to accept the minutes.
I have a motion by Jeff, a second by Joe. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 6-0 with Clark abstaining. Yeah, you told me to check this, Clark, and then it didn't work. Let me try this one.
I told you to check.
Well, they've been in there a while. There it goes.
There.
No, that was there. Okay, moving on.
Here.
Community Corrections Report. We have Brett Barton with us today.
Morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Give me the other ones.
Our number this morning are 75 clients on our program. We have 1 juvenile, 2 on pretrial, and nobody on CTP. As you know, our numbers are, as you can see, our numbers are lower than what we have been. There's numerous reasons for that. We've had a rash of modifications, which is a good thing. If people earn the time to be modified, I support that with the judges. We lose a lot of people between sentencing and intake with us, getting new arrests. A lot of them can't pass drug screens, so that's brought our numbers down. My board recently reviewed all of our policies and had those approved, so those are all up to date. And I did learn last week that we will not be coming to the courthouse after all the renovations, so I think Louis got a word of that. He's our landlord, so he's proposed a new lease and, of course, stuck in an increase on that. So that'll be taken up to the commissioners in the 19th, I think. So we'll probably be over there for another 2 years on that.
Okay.
All I have. Any questions?
Brett, I was wondering if you could share how your partnership with the Trinity Hope Center is going in Chris Ward.
Oh, very good. Yeah, we have a great relationship.
I don't
yeah.
know if the guys all
Yeah,
what that was.
One of our policies is everybody gets reviewed by the peer recovery coaches, any of our moderate and high-level felonies. So, yeah, I know they're got some more people in the training over there, and
I
they
knew it was
just had
going
another
well on Trinity
graduate.
Hope, but I wasn't sure it was going well on your side too.
Absolutely. I am also meeting with Rich Reck today about 180. He wanted to meet, so I'm looking forward to that meeting at 11 o'clock.
Brett, when you talk about your numbers being down a little bit, how does that relate then to your, say, future year, next year funding? Do they look at your numbers when they come up with your DOC money?
They do. I'm always told that I'm underfunded. Why I can't get more money, I don't know. I compare us to other counties of similar size and caseloads, and I just can't get a funding formula or a straight answer, but I don't think we're ever going to lose money.
Okay, well,
But
that's
think
where I
we're
was
at the-
going, yeah.
We're at the bottom rung as we are. I don't see how they could take any more.
I didn't want them to punish you or penalize
Right.
you because numbers were down out for reasons out of your control, I guess, is my, okay.
Like, I don't know if you do realize, but we do pretrial release. I've spoken with the sheriff. Their numbers are high, ours are low, so I think he's going to be talking to the judges about possibly maybe increasing our pretrial release program too, so that could help.
Okay, great, all right.
Thank you.
Thank you. I don't believe we have Nancy with us today with her final report for the year. That was another a good month in November with a $0 for the juvenile detention costs. So we had an excellent year to date with 1 month to go for her reporting. New business. I want to make a quick note that those of you that get an email version of the agenda early notice that the first item on the agenda that was released on earlier in the week or end of last week included a abatement request from Co-Alliance for a project they're working on at Circleville. We pulled that out because they, upon further review, did not have all of their required information put together quite yet. So I spoke with them yesterday, told them what they needed to get for us, and we'll review that or get that brought back to us in January. So I just wanted to make a note for why that had been removed from the agenda. Next item, recorder's affidavit for the perpetuation fund. Beth is with us here today. An annual event.
In a way, I don't really feel like it needs to go to mic, but I can.
Well, just for the benefit of those watching online, you might review the process.
All right. So recorders' offices have a special fund that they collect for with each document and each copy, and that goes for the preservation of the records and repairing books and things. And sometime I would like to get somebody in there that could index and all the documents that have been digitized now, that we had that project with U.S. Imaging, and that got completed. So anyway, that special fund sitting there waiting for, to be used for perpetuation of records. Several years ago, the council asked if we would be willing to pay for the deputy salaries out of that, and this affidavit is stating that I'm allowing that to happen and that there's enough money left in the account to take care of the needs that we have. And so I've just put that affidavit out there with their salary in there. And then also, we're going to have an ordinance again every year. You have to do the ordinance every year. So I got an email into Tom late, but to get a new ordinance for this year. It actually states that in the ordinance that it's to be done every year. So
Okay.
anyway, I thought maybe we just did it once, that would be enough.
Well, we can catch up with that either in our cleanup meeting if it has to be done prior to the start of the new budget year, or we can deal with it at the January.
Last year we did it January 10th,
Okay.
so
Okay, so that would have been.
kind
at
of
the
thinking
first.
we'll be okay.
Okay.
So.
Well, that incredibly strong recorder's lobby at the State House put this situation in place. It's unique in all of county government finance that this is the only time that we have to have a double turning of the keys, a double sign off on a budget item is with the Recorder's Perpetuation Fund. So we have a copy of that affidavit in the packet, and I don't think we need to take action on the affidavit. I think we take action on the ordinance, correct? So there's not anything I think we need to do other than acknowledge receipt of the affidavit.
That's probably correct, yeah.
Okay, and this would be the basis then for our consideration of the resolution next month, because it does list the items that we've agreed with the recorder to jointly fund through the perpetuation fund. For the benefit of those here, that's $39,076 for the first deputy, $34,015 for the second deputy, and overtime of $2,000. So, thank you for the explanation.
Thank you very much.
We'll take that up then again in January with the resolution. Next item is the 2024 council meeting schedule. Now, normally this is a pretty rubber stamp thing. We've met on the second Tuesday of the month for my entire time on the council. This year does have a slight change to it, and I want to point that out and just talk about it real quick. Typically, we have our first reading of the budget in August, and then we have our second reading of the budget in conjunction with our regular September meeting. You'll see that this year we're proposing a change to where the first reading of the budget would be in conjunction with the September meeting, followed by a second meeting later in September on the 24th for the second reading of the budget. And we've done that because we continually are battling with the state providing us information that we need to make decisions related to the budget that doesn't come until the very end of August. And so we don't have it in hand when we do that first reading. And Britt and I talked about it, that it doesn't really impact our finish line, which is always the October meeting where we adopt. So we just decided to push the schedule back. That's about 3 weeks that we pushed it back to allow for the state's data to get to us and us have all of the information we need at the time we start reviewing the budget, even the first time. So that's the change that I would point out, is adding that September 24th second budget reading. So for all you department heads, that'll be a slightly different schedule for you as well. So with that, the regular meetings then are all continue to be on the second Tuesday of each month. So with that as an explanation, I'd entertain a motion to approve that meeting schedule for 2024, or discuss if you feel like you want to have input on that proposed change.
So moved.
Okay, motion by Carol to approve.
Second.
I have a second by Todd that we approve the meeting schedule as drafted here. All those in favor, raise your right hand. That motion carries 7-0. And Britt, I'll leave it to you to notify, put that out publicly to the press and all of that schedule. One other item that we need to take care of, kind of finishing up, kind of as a residue from the budget process, we need to pass the 2024 salary ordinance. Since budget time, we've had just a couple of slight changes, but for the most part, it is exactly as we budgeted. So you have that in your packet. That's just simply the last step. We are required to have the salary ordinance that, this is the official implementation of the budget numbers that we have in our budget book. So we've already had all the hard work, the discussion to come up with the numbers, but we've got to amend the ordinance to reflect 24 numbers and change them from the 23 numbers. So I'd entertain a motion on that.
So moved.
A motion by Todd to approve,
Second.
presumably,
Yes.
approve the
Yes, to
2024
approve. I'm sorry.
salary ordinance. And I think I had Jeff then with the second. Any questions or comments or discussion on that?
No.
Okay, all those in favor, raise your right hand. That motion carries 7-0. Okay, that brings us to the old business, which is our additional appropriations. December is always a light month on additional appropriations and a heavy month on transfers, and that's by design. We always encourage the department heads to try to move money around within an already approved budget to make it to the finish line of December 31, and we have several department heads taking advantage of that today. But first, the additional appropriations. Beginning with County General, the auditor's asking for $55,981. This says shortage at the end of the year. This refers to our group health plan, so the IU Health medical plan that we have. The shortfall is not because of an increase in the rate, it would be an increase in the usage. So throughout the year, employees come on, they go off of the plan, we get new employees, the new person comes on, the old person may not have been on, and numbers can fluctuate throughout the year. Long and short of it is when those were all tabulated through the end of the year, we didn't quite have enough money budgeted. So we need to finish the year with this extra amount, $55,981. Also in County General, $1,000, we received an insurance reimbursement check it's going to go into our insurance deductible line item. And I believe that is all for County General. Let me get this out. From the County Home Gifts Fund, as you know, there's a haunted house each year that generates funds for the Parkview home, and this year that activity raised $3,318, and we're appropriating that into the gifts funds to be used for gifts for the residents. The Board of Health has an ongoing, we have Rodney with us today. Rodney's here. And I'll let Rodney maybe take a moment to speak to the project if you would, but he's got a request for $6,000 for some modifications inside his office space to accommodate the new employees that we'll be bringing online beginning in 2024 with that increase in spending. Rodney, if you could give just a real quick description of what you're doing.
Sure. Well, and I want to make sure I got this in a row, because right now you may have to table that till the commissioners actually approve it, because we had discussed it with the commissioners on getting that billed, but since that's a special circumstance and not our building, we're working on that with them. But
I don't think it will cause any issue
Okay,
if we
so-
have pre-approved the
but
funding. They still have the ultimate
sure,
authority.
My office manager is
Yeah.
very efficient in getting those in line before the end of the year. But what we need to do, and what Dr. Tharp ingeniously thought of, we've had a storeroom of about 25 by 12 or 13 feet that we've been utilizing. And for the immediate situation with 2 new staff members, he discussed, well, why don't we get a different storeroom built onto this building? That was something we're talking for the future as well. And then break this into 2 offices, which would require a wall, couple doors, finished work done, actually 2 walls and 2 finished doors. So that's what this money would be for, to have space to accommodate those 2 new nurses that'll be coming in. So, and then we'll just, we've actually moved our storeroom out of there, which was quite a feat as well already. I thought when I had that new storeroom, I would never need any more room again, but we actually are still growing. And so that's the plan, is to try to keep the pressure off of the whole building scenario as much as we can. Currently, Laura's accommodating me with some an additional office I was going to rent anyway, but we're using that as a storeroom, which is much smaller. So, so that's what this money would be utilized for, is that first transition.
So as Rodney's indicated, this would be for a build-out at a building we do not own, and so concurrent with these discussions are discussions with Healthy Communities about, at least getting an option for right of first refusal in the event that the building is sold, or, some other sort of accommodation distinction that would recognize our investment in their building, so.
And that would lay track for the larger investment in a 30 by 35 foot addition there in the back for an additional storeroom finally to start accommodating additional staff as well. So the whole plan being just to keep ourselves within that building until we have a ability to expand further, so.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
So $6,000 allocated for that project from the Board of Health budget. Last month, we had a discussion about moving some money from the Recorder's Perpetuation Fund to the Elected Officials Training Fund. We had a one-time opportunity to move a portion of that, and we voted to move forward with that, and so this is the official appropriation of that money to that line item, or to that fund, $36,424.57. And then lastly, for the surveyor, there's a pretty large drainage project that they're working on over in the eastern part of the county, and to fund that, it's a reconstruction, replacement of a long stretch of county drain. To finance that, the surveyor took out a loan with Encompass Credit Union. The project, a portion of that payment needs to be made in 2023. That's the $15,500 that the surveyor is asking be appropriated from those loan proceeds. We'll likely see in January a request for the remainder of the amount for the portion that will be paid in 2024. But that's what this is for, is a drain reconstruction in the Price Blackburn drain. And that is your list of additional appropriations for December. Any questions, comments, discussion? Do I have a motion to approve?
Yay.
I have a motion by Joe to approve this month's additional appropriations. Do I have a second?
Second.
I think I've got Clark with the second. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 7-0. Now for transfers. We do have several transfers, and I imagine there'll be several more at the cleanup meeting at the last week of the year. Beginning with the assessor's office, $2,637.42 from one deputy real estate position to the first deputy real estate position. $500 in the assessor's office from postage meter to Social Security. In the prosecutor's office, $800 from professional services to office supplies. In the county council budget, $10,000 from professional services to the group health premium line item. Also in the council budget, $20,000 from unemployment to the group health, $20,000 from unemployment to the FICA line item. Council budget, $5,200 from life insurance to the group health line item. Council budget, $1,375 from life insurance to the dental line item. Council budget, $3,000 from our health clinic to the FICA line item. $7,000 also council budget from the clinic line item to our PERF line item, the Public Employee Retirement Fund. $1,085 council budget from our health clinic line item to the vision line item. Council budget, $6,900 from our clinic line item to dental. Council budget, $15,000 from the clinic line item to our HRA, the health reimbursement account line item. Council budget, $819 from the AIC dues line item to the group health line item. Moving on to the Area Plan Commission, $700 from office supplies to reimbursement to towns. Sometimes the county advances fees, or the towns advance fees, and we reimburse. $300 office supplies to dues and subscriptions. Superior Court, $300 from transcripts to office supplies. Circuit Court, $195.77 from each of two court reporter line items. $1,633.14 from an additional court reporter line item, and $8,200 from overtime, all going to pauper attorney. Also, $245.18 from office equipment to pauper attorney. EMS, $5,000 from ambulance cot maintenance to gas and lube. Also EMS, $3,931 from ambulance cot maintenance to medical supplies. Health Department, $4,200 from administration to perf to finish the year. And that is the slate of transfers. The remainder were all within a category and did not require our approval. Any questions on any of those? I think they were all fairly straightforward. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Yes.
Okay, I have a motion by Jeff, and I think I've got Joe then with the second. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 7-0. As we do each month, we receive a financial report from the auditor that gives a budget status of the budget year to date and also gives a fund balance total per the end of the previous month. And we note for our records, for the minutes, for transparency's sake, that that has been provided to us. So I would entertain a motion that we've received and reviewed the financial and budget status reports for November.
I'll make that motion. Oh,
I think I've got
okay.
Mike with the motion and Joe with the second. All those in favor?
That was me.
I'm sorry, Jeff.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
Jeff with the second. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 7-0. That brings us to council reports. Anybody have a council report this month? Meetings you may have attended, committees you may have worked with, functions? Nothing?
I worked a little bit with Sharp, but that's all.
Okay.
Nothing to report.
Okay. Seeing and hearing no others, we'll move on with commissioners' reports. We've got one commissioner in the room. Anything this month, Bert?
Nothing that I've got.
Okay, it's kind of got that end of the year feel, doesn't it?
It
Yeah,
is kind of coast.
kind of wrapping it up, yeah. Department heads, any department heads need time with the council today? Renee?
Just a quick, I think you know, every year, near the end of the year, the statewide 911 board reviews all of their financials, and nothing that's ever guaranteed, but we did get another extra distribution to our 911 fund. It was approximately $67,612, so, you know, that's never guaranteed, and that is separate from our hold harmless monthly amount that we receive from the state each month, so
But good news.
it's always
Yeah.
good to have that.
What was the amount again? Sorry.
67,000.
That's close enough.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
So,
all right.
other than that, I don't have anything.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Anybody else? Anything? Either of you? Public safety?
Thanks. Hey.
Oh, someone first. Sorry.
So I presented this at the last commissioners meeting. I met with Alan and Jeff for the budget committee last month to cover this. This is the ZOL 1 program proposal. I spoke about this during our initial budget hearing this last year. I've been working with ZOL for, I guess, 6-7 months now to try and establish this contract here. And what it is it will give us 4 cardiac monitors on a 10-year lease. And at the 5-year mark, we'll get 4 brand new ones with upgraded technology. So it gives us the ability for the next 10 years to budget specifically for this amount, which is $37,612.86. All the maintenance, all the equipment associated with it is all covered. Right now, the capital expenses for 1 cardiac monitor is $63,000 and change, and then that does not include the annual maintenance or the annual equipment that we use with it, which can be about $5,000 to $6,200 per monitor. The life expectancy per monitor is 10 years, excuse me. We've had ours for 7, and I have 2 monitors right now that are with ZOL. One, the screen actually just we turned it on; it went completely white and is completely inoperable. Obviously, we can't function without that device, so this is kind of the most important piece of equipment we have, I would offer, and I think that we've got a really good deal. We've had various numbers presented, and by far the lowest is this value. So I think that's where I'm at. The commissioners moved to allow me to present it today. They're reviewing the contract right now, the master agreement, and with your guys' approval, take it back in front of the commissioners for their approval of the actual contract. So I believe, we kind of talked about this, we'll be able to utilize the group insurance excess for 2023, or 2024, excuse me, but then be able to budget accordingly year after that, so.
Jeff, do you want to share anything about our
Yeah,
visit?
I think with, with equipment like this, that we, or should, maybe I should start with, it's nice to own equipment, but I think things like this, we need it to be updated as soon as that comes about, and I think every 4 or 5 years, if that can be, that seems to be the way to go now, to lease this type of equipment.
And I would add that when we reviewed the scenarios, we reviewed multiple scenarios. It was not just that he presented this to us and said, what do you think? We looked at multiple ways we might deal with this issue of having an end-of-life situation coming up with a replacement that was going to be in the hundreds of thousands of dollars in a single budget year unless we came up with a different way to do it. And we had this opportunity to move into some newer equipment sooner in a way that was predictable and budgetable in a way that I thought we could handle. And so we all kind of coalesced around this is the best option to move forward and then agreed to bring it to the full council with our recommendation that this would be the way to go. So I think, A, it keeps our equipment that our first responders have and that any of us as citizens would receive if we were on the receiving end of an ambulance run. It keeps it top notch. It keeps it new, it working, and in the latest technology. And I think that's kind of what our duty and obligation is, to try to provide for the citizenry. So it would be our recommendation as the budget committee. Clark was not able to attend that day, but that we move forward with this as our best option to replace this kind of. I used the analogy, and it was kind of a corny pun, but it's the heart, and it's a heart monitor, but it's the heart of the ambulance. It really is. I mean, it's the key piece of equipment in that truck. So.
You want a motion? You want a motion?
Yeah, I'd like a motion that we would move forward with the approval that we would go with a 10-year lease contract we would get the equipment replaced when new versions come out for $37,612 annually. That locks that in an inflationary environment. I mean, I think that by year 10 is going to look incredibly cheap. And it's our recommendation we move forward with that.
I'll make that motion.
Have a motion
I'll
by
second.
Joe, second by Todd, that we move forward with our commitment to fund the Zoll lease. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 7-0. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for all your work you put in onto that. That was really very diligent in the scenarios you laid out for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Joe likes to give me a hard time about asking for things, so I just want to say that we actually were awarded a grant from the Indiana Department of Homeland Security. 120 different applicants applied for over $8 million some throughout the state. Only 42 received funding for $1.4 million, and we received 90,000 of that. We were the second highest grant recipient. The only company that edged us out was Indianapolis EMS. So we'll receive 90,000 in reimbursement for our paramedic and EMT student graduates. So this won't affect 24, but in 2025 we'll receive $90,000 in reimbursements.
And that reminds me, we owe a debt of thanks to Center Township that you might share.
Yeah, can I publicly share that now?
Well, I'll leave that up to you. You've had the discussions. I'll leave it up to you. Maybe I shouldn't have said anything.
That's okay. I guess we'll present it now. Center Township has agreed to pay for one of the ambulances that will be coming in 2025. That'll be over $260,000 that they've committed to purchase for us.
It's such a high percentage of the runs are in Center Township. We appreciate that partnership. It allows us to keep our equipment to be top of the line. So
Yeah, incredibly grateful for that commitment.
yeah,
So
yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you,
Thanks, Stephen.
Sheriff Kelly.
I have all good news. Well, it's not good news for you.
Oh,
It is good news in the spirit of Christmas. I'd like to invite all of you to come up to the sheriff's office and see the tree that we've dedicated to all the fallen officers for every year. And it's something that the matron and our staff put together, and we keep adding every day until January 1. So with that in mind, but we do have a couple things, and we've talked to the commissioners about. We had a small fire, electrical fire in the administrative portion of the building, and so we're trying to figure out the fix for that. Just shortly after that, we had the control panel in the main portion of the jail that controls all the doors, and Sheriff Hensley and Joe, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and it controls over almost 200 doors, and that panel went down. And I don't know the age of it, but I know it's probably Sheriff Hensley's 1995 era. I don't know what the cost would be, but it is something we've got it temporarily fixed, and it's something that we're gonna, look at in January, and we'll try and get some things put together and propose it to the commissioners, and it's something that these are the projects that we're gonna, fall into with this type of age on the building. So, just for a heads up, but other than that,
I was
we've
gonna
had
say one thing, when that goes to default, it opens all the doors in the jail. So it's one of them, we hate to spend the money, but we need to spend the money because there's some bad hombres in the jail.
Yeah.
You wanna make sure they're under lock and key.
So it puts our people into the speed mode of going back through, checking all doors, securing everything manually, and then then we had to get the panel repaired to a point where we can use it, but it is going to be it's going to need to be replaced. And there's several companies out there, obviously, so we'll get with the commissioners and we'll work on that over the next couple of months. Hopefully, we'll survive the next couple of months and get something taken care of.
Okay.
But other than that, all the other projects are, for the most part, complete in the kitchen as well as the new front door to the facility, things like that. So, and the glass replacement, we're about 98% done with the glass replacement. So it is something that, we appreciate, and to keep the place in operating order and that. And as far as, the count inside, we're still under our maximum limit, but we are feeling and I don't know if it's the weather and it's warmer in the jail than it is out on the street, but we typically get a rise in population when the weather turns cold. And also with community corrections having low population, we will have a conversation with the judges and see if we can utilize the pretrial release and get those folks on a monitoring system with community corrections, kind of help us out a little bit.
Okay.
Other than that, thank you very much.
Okay.
Appreciate the efforts.
Great.
Thanks, Sheriff.
Thank you. Anybody else? Any member of the public have business to bring before the council? Okay, well, with no other official business to do, the only other item that I have is to take a few minutes to say thank you to this man on my left, who's been quite literally my left-hand man for 6 years now, and who's retiring from the council effective the end of the year, moving out of the community to a really nice place that you've got purchased. So, Clark, I don't know how to thank you enough for all of the guidance and wisdom that you've shared with me. For those that don't know, there's been a lot of times that I've just reached out to Clark when there's been an issue that sometimes you just need to think through, talk about, try to get your bearings on where you're getting. Clark's always been that guy that I call, and he's always had good advice for me, good counsel for me, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. So
You're too kind.
Clark made me promise that we weren't going to have a big, official gift giving or recognition, but I couldn't let the meeting go by without saying something to thank you. So, on behalf of the whole council, thank you for your years of service on the council.
Well, it's been an honor and a pleasure and a lot of different things over the years, and I have no regrets.
Well, he gets to go out with a bang because I will not be here for the cleanup meeting at the end of the month. So he gets to, as vice president, run in the last meeting of the year. So he'll go out on top.
Maybe.
Well,
We
maybe.
have to
Well, then we need to
discuss
talk.
this,
We need to
yes.
talk then. Okay.
Well, I've got
So-
6 grandkids going to be somewhere between Christmas and New Year's, and I want to miss it. So
It's in the minutes. I think it's in the minutes now.
Yeah, you've been assigned.
stop, Clark.
So,
We'll see.
okay. So with that being said, I don't have any other business. If there's no business to come before the council, we'll call the meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Very good.
When
Christmas, everyone.
Yeah, Merry